How can I see who's in here? Am I able to see? Hey, everybody. Oh, there's 9 people already. So I just randomly came up with this idea to host a free lesson a couple days ago. And we were thinking like, oh, maybe like 3 people will show up. And we had 112 people register. So I'm super excited to meet everybody. This is my co-host here. He's helping me with the tech side of things. But today we will go over a full makeup application. And also I wanted to let you guys know that I will be doing a giveaway. I do have a membership where I offer 2 makeup lessons per month. And then you also get access to my platform with tons of PDFs and lots of educational information. So one of you guys in this live stream will be winning an annual membership to City Lights Beauty Society. Before we start, I always like to make my classes very interactive. Does anybody have anything that they want to make sure that I cover? And you could feel free to raise your hand if you wanted to go on camera. Or you can just enter it in the chat. I'm just going to give it a couple minutes just to see if anybody else is joining. Okay, so choosing your colors and shades. Is that more so for foundations or eyeshadows or just everything? Okay. So for base, you definitely can always warm it up with other products. So I always am going to be adding blush and bronzer. One really good way to rectify that is to have a foundation that has other shades, because that way, no matter if it is the middle of winter or summer or you just got back from vacation, you can kind of like mix the colors and create your own shade all the time. But typically if I am too white, then what I like to do is just warm it up with a warmer powder. Tips for tight lining. So for tight lining, are you having issues with it running, or what is your tight line question? And for those of you that don't know what tight lining is, it's basically taking an eyeliner and putting it inside. So instead of being under, it would be in. So that's what a tight lining is. Clients who cannot stop blinking or moving away. So this is something that I feel like I have mastered, because it's mostly psychological. And one thing I've learned throughout studying and researching is that there's actually 2 types of tears that come from the eye. One is when there is actually something in your eye. And then the second type is called reactive tears. So a lot of times it's just a mind game with them. So if someone says like they're scared or their eyes are running or they're watering, I will literally gaslight them and be like, oh, you're not watering. No, your eye's totally fine. Or if it's like really bad and it like won't stop watering, then I actually have them get up and like walk around, because we just need to, I say that the eye has trust issues, and I'm like, we just need to get your mind off of what's going on. So it's less is more. Keep them on a need to know basis. Kind of just go in for it and don't really explain everything you're doing. And I have actually found, I've had so many clients tell me, like, I love that you don't want to small talk the whole time and you're not explaining every single thing that you're doing. And I know some artists do that, and some clients do ask questions, but I think that especially if you're dealing with someone that's a little flinchy, it's better to just go in for it. Just tell them, look up, do it, and be like, sorry, and then just move on to the next eye. Okay, 1, 2, 3, we're done, we're moving on. And I think it also helps if you touch another side of the face, or if you do hair and makeup. I kind of like to switch between hair and makeup at the same time. So I might work on the face, like the eyes a little bit. I always start with eyes, and then I will go to the hair. And I think that that also helps with tears, and like the reactive tears that I think most of our clients have, because they're just not used to having someone so close to their eyeball. Unless they have contacts, then I find that those people are like just riders. They don't really have any issues. Does anybody else have any specific questions? And I'll definitely do a little tight line trick for you, and then also with foundation matching as well. I can actually purposely make myself a little pale just to show you like what I would do in that situation. But again, anyone, you can raise your hand, or you can type in the chat if you have any specific questions. But let me see what time it is. It is 7:09, so I think we can get started on the full look. And feel free to follow along. If you don't have any of these specific products, you can ask questions, and I'm happy to provide substitutes, and you will receive a list of everything I used, and I'm happy to help you guys with advice. Colors that are good with eye color. Linda, what color are your eyes? Hazel. Okay, so you can wear anything, honestly. I don't really like cool tones on anybody. I feel like they are pretty harsh, but with hazel eyes, you could really pop with like a warm purple. I love bronzies. I love like, you could wear anything, because I have hazel eyes too. So I do go the purple route. I do mauves. I really like a rich chocolate brown. Are you a shimmery or a matte person, or do you not really have a preference? Matte, okay. So do you like to do any highlighting like on the brow bone or on the inside? Yeah. Okay. Well, I will definitely show you. My biggest advice is, anytime you're doing eyes, is if you're only doing shimmer, that should be one color, and it's because you're rushing or you want it to just look light. So if I'm doing a shimmer and it's one color, and that's fine, but you never want to use multiple shimmers. I feel like if you're gonna go with a darker shade on the outside to try to create a crease, and then a lighter inside, you don't want them both to be shimmery, because it's just gonna get like muddy and look kind of yucky. So your crease color or your defining color, I always like to make matte, and then shimmer is gonna be to bring light and to highlight everywhere else. But I think that you could wear most colors. I'm not a fan of grays and silvers, and just check your check your eyeshadows and make sure that you don't have too cool of colors, because my best friend, I know when we first met, she had so many cool eyeshadow palettes. And I was like, girl, you have like honey skin and like brown hair. I really think we should put some golds and stuff in there. Yeah, of course. So I'm just gonna go through and do a full look. I washed my face and I just did a little hyaluronic acid and moisturizer a little bit ago. So, and I also shaved my face. You can get professional dermaplaning, or I like to just go in with a dry razor, and I only use like the cheapy Bic razors and just go really slowly. And it not only takes the peach fuzz off, but it also removes any dead skin. I'm a big fan of glycolic and retinols and things like that. So it's always nice to get that little extra skin taken off. But this is a illuminator. And it's gonna make me look a little bit like a disco ball at first. But it's moisturizing and it brightens the face. And if I were going out, I would definitely, excuse me, bring this down. And then I like to do like my chest and my arms and sometimes my legs. And then depending on your skin, that is going to be determining your next step. If you are someone that's super dry, then this might be good for you. But if you're oily like me, I am an extremely oily person. Like, I look like an oil slick after a couple hours. So I really love, this is a liquid powder shine eliminator. And this is actually a men's makeup line, but it's for anybody. Karoom, it's showing multiple people on the screen. I don't know if that matters. Now I really don't know what happened. But this liquid powder shine eliminator, this is really great. Like I said, it was a men's makeup line. It was invented because guys really don't want to have their makeup done. And if you're an artist especially, and you've done corporate photo shoots or commercials, a lot of times the guys are like, they'll sneak away to like avoid getting their makeup done because they think they're just gonna turn into a girl or something. So if you have something like this, it just feels like they're just getting some lotion on their face, and they usually calm down about it. But I have found that it works amazing under makeup as well, for me, because I'm so oily. And actually, Pamela, the owner of the brand, she is going to give everyone a discount code for 20% off. So if you guys are interested in any of her products, I love the liquid powder, and then also her eye cream, which I should have had out, but I don't. I don't know where it is, sorry. But if you have dry under eyes, it's great. So I'm gonna let this sit for a second and start working on my eyes. My number one must-have is an eyeshadow primer, and I don't think that using foundation is the same. I'm just gonna put that out there. I know a lot of artists do. I'm not one of them. Hi. Who's... Kroom, are you seeing like it's showing multiple... For me, it's showing multiple people. Oh, okay. Okay. So eyeshadow primer. This one is a skin color. I also have one that's white, and I use the white one if I'm using something like really colorful, but I usually opt for this. This is really great if you have darker eyelids or if you just want to like brighten up and look more awake. And you don't have to use brushes, but as a professional artist, I'm just accustomed to using brushes. Mm-hmm. So I primarily use primer because it makes it stay. So if you put on eyeshadow without any primer, it will get creasy and like just kind of disappear. And having this creates a barrier, so your eyeshadow could literally stay on like until the next day. So it just it sticks to it. And then not only that, but it makes it look more pigmented, so you actually use less eyeshadow. So I can show you really quick. And by the way, Isom, they sent me this palette, and when I put this on my eye, my jaw was like, because it's so buttery, like this is my new favorite eyeshadow. But I'll just show you guys really quick. And I normally use a business card, but I'm just gonna use the end of this. Let's go with, I'm gonna use like this burnt orange. And also when you're lifting eyeshadow on your brush, you always wanna press it so that way it's actually picking up the product as opposed to like scribbling it in. But you're just kind of picking up the product like that. And then never blow on your brush. You always want to tap because you don't want to get yucky germs. But this is my, my little trick to make sure that my eyes are always lifted. And in this specific look, you can swap out the colors, but this is going to be your darker shade. And I'm doing my eyes first so that I can make a huge mess and clean it up afterwards and not have to worry about fallout on my base. How far out do you apply? Do you have points of reference for the eyeshadow? So I never like to bring it too far past the brow bone. I have it slightly past the brow bone right now, but I will be blending with a shimmery color, and that is kind of a hack, because if you're using a shimmery, you don't have to do as much blending. So it's kind of foolproof, but see how this is showing up here. And then I just wanted to show you guys, if I put the eyeshadow on without the primer, it's going on, but because obviously this eyeshadow is amazing. And I do have a link for this brand as well. I can share with you guys. But it's just not, it's not as bright. So I'm gonna go back in and wipe it away a bit and then just go over it. Teaching makeup has really become a passion project for me, because I just think that everyone watches all these overly edited tutorials where the person is, you know, probably spending an hour, 2 hours creating the content, and then it's edited down to only 5 minutes or less because everyone's attention spans. So I fell in love with teaching people because it's really not that hard. It's just like art, it's just cleaning up your mess and knowing what to do when something goes wrong. Like if you have your eyeliner squiggly, or, you know, whatever happens, there's always a solution for it. Because I used to be that person that was like cussing at myself getting ready too, because you blink and like your mascara goes everywhere, but it's really actually easy to fix. And then as far as how far out the eyeshadow goes, it really doesn't matter. You can go crazy because I'm gonna clean this up anyway. This is why I do eyes first, because we can just kind of get nuts and then worry about cleaning it up afterwards. And then also, once we apply the base and the highlighter, it helps us blend the eyeshadow as well. And the reason why I like to use this or a business card is because it helps us always make sure our eyes are lifted. Correct. Yeah, so this is going to be my darker shade. I'm going to do a 2-color look. So this is my matte, my darker shade, and I'm focusing on this side, and then I'm bringing it in a little bit, and then I'm going to blend it with the shimmery. And I'm just going to use a highlighter palette. I'm also very big about, you don't have to buy products for everything. So if you have a highlighter palette or just a highlighter, you can always use that to highlight your eyes as well. Now, one of my big tips too is when you're working with something that's shimmery, it tends to crumble. So it's best to have a brush that's flat and stiff because the flat and stiff brush is going to pick up that product without it flying all over the place. And we really want to be able to have control when we're putting this on the eye as well. So I'm just going to stretch out my eye. And I'm going about halfway, and then I'm just tapering it off. And then I'm flipping the brush over because I did apply the product and doing the same thing. And again, you can use any colors, but you want it to be a lighter and then you're darker, and you want it to be a shimmery and then a matte. And if you don't like shimmer at all, you can definitely use just a like a matte white or beige, but it will require a little bit more blending work. Now I'm going to blend up here. So I don't want it to be as harsh or as what's a good word? Like as covering up here. I'm just kind of like gonna smoke some of this shimmer on the brow bone and give it that fake perfect blend as well. So now I'm going in with more of a fluffy brush, and I'm just using the same champagne color. And see how it, like you can kind of see through the shimmer, so it looks very well blended. And if you ever feel like you put too much, or if you went too low, if you put it too far down, you can always just go back in with that other color. And I just usually use whatever's left on the brush and just go back in. And now with also whatever's left over on that highlighter, I'm just gonna soften the edges. And there we go. Any questions so far? Okay, so I'm going to move on to eyeliner now. And I personally like to use a liquid liner, but if you are a little bit scared of the liquid liner, I just wanted to show you guys a quick hack. You can grab a angle brush like this. And I'm just gonna go in with a matte black. And you just go right on your lash line. And so that's just a quick way if you are a little shy with the liquid liner. Also, if you are using liquid liner and you make a mistake, this is also a great way to fix that, because you can just go in with either a super dark brown or a matte black, and just anywhere that you squiggled or it's uneven, you can just blend it and smoke it a little bit. And now I'm going to go in with the pen. And this particular pen, I really prefer pens that have brush tips as opposed to felt tips. I feel like the felt tips just get kind of weird. And I apologize, the mirror is literally so far. So I am making this work. And you want to get it on the lash line. You never want to have a gap. And then how I do the wing is, let me get a close-up of this one. You just want to do a swoop and then connect and bring it down. I keep trying to look in the computer. And that is how I do my wing. If you have uneven wings or you don't like how one side came out, you can always smoke it. And I'm gonna show you. I like to do a dark brown as opposed to black, but you can definitely do black as well. But this is just a really dark brown and it's matte. And we're gonna go back with our little tool, whether that's a business card or a credit card or the tip of this. And that helps you just clean up any little mistakes that you might have made. Also, if you don't want to make your line larger, I can see all the way from over here that I have a tiny little bump right there. So I'm just taking whatever was left on this highlight brush and just gonna smooth that out. And then, let's see, should we use the same face primer for the eyes too? No. So eyeshadow primer is completely different, and how you prime your face will depend on what your skin type is. So if you're a dry person or someone that's not oily, like pretty normal, you can actually just use a moisturizer. It's best to use one that doesn't have too much SPF. It's not SPF dominant, because then that could look a little oily and like make the makeup slide around. But if you are a dry person, you can use a silicone based. But if you're oily, you definitely want to stay away from anything silicone based. That's something that someone like myself, when I first got started, I was buying the Smashbox photo finish primer, and it was supposed to fill in everything and like make your skin look like glass. And I was noticing that my makeup looked actually worse than if I hadn't used anything. And that's when I started to learn about just the different skin types and how oil and silicone clash. And when I'm doing bridal or a special event, or someone books me to do their makeup, I always use the water-based airbrush. And there's water-based, silicone-based, and then there's a waterproof. The waterproof is alcohol-based, so I definitely don't like that on the face. But silicone-based, more up north in Chicago, I could use sometimes, but especially in Florida, because there's oil and there's sweat, I really stick to the water-based products. What brand are you using for the eyeliner pen? So there's, I have Stila, Esam, and I've also used MAC as well. I really like the MAC brown for my eyebrows. I like to draw a couple little hairs in there. And Esam, we did the links right there for the Esam. And I'm just gonna make these match a bit. And see how this kind of looks brown, like there's an obvious difference between the brown and then the orangey. I'm just gonna take whatever's left on this orangey one and just blend that a bit so they just melt into each other. Blend is your friend. And something to keep in mind is just no harsh lines. That's the goal. Except your eyeliner. I mean, if you can get a sharp eyeliner, I always like that. All right, so now I have done my eyes, and I would typically use the Ménage eye cream, but I left it in the other room, so I'm not gonna leave you guys hanging. And I'm just gonna go in with a hydrating priming mist and clean up. You can use an eye cream or a face lotion or a hydrating setting spray. I would not recommend a mattifying one because it could dry out under your eyes. But we are just removing any possible fallout from doing our eyes. And then I'm gonna let that dry for a second. Oh, I have my fan. And this fan is rechargeable and definitely comes in handy, especially if you're someone who puts lashes on. This helps dry everything. Now, next I am going to add some concealer. This one is Shape Tape by Tarte, but I also really like to use creams and all kinds of things. Makeup is very versatile, and that is what I really want to teach the world, is that you can use any and everything. I really like waterproof concealers because they act more like an eyeshadow primer than, say, a cream. But you do have to be careful because if you put on too much, it could actually make your under eyes look worse. And I like to do a shade or two lighter for my concealer. Not everybody likes this, but I do. And I did not forget about you, Tanya. I'm going to purposely do my face a little bit too pale to show you how to easily rectify that. And I like to add a little concealer wherever I want to be a little brighter. And if face filters have taught me anything, it's that they always brighten us here and my nose and like right here. And I don't know about you guys, but I'd love to look more like a face filter. Okay. So now I'm moving on to a cream foundation. This one is by Ket. And I'm gonna go light. Now I definitely recommend buying something like this because then you can have a bunch of different colors. They also have cream blush, so it doesn't have to be just, you know, all these shades if you're just buying it for yourself. You can buy an empty palette and then you can buy a couple foundation shades and then a powder, a cream blush. They can customize the palette for you, which I really like. And I'm using a brush. I'm not a huge fan of beauty blenders because I feel like they kind of get yucky. Someone's unmuted. Were they raising their hand? You have a question? So as you can see, I'm making myself pale. And this happens a lot to people when they get a tan and then they realize, oh, I'm way darker than this. Esom has some of the best brushes I've ever laid hands on. And I like to have something that's like stiff and full. Now I do have little teeny tiny beauty blenders, but I don't reuse them. I think it's really gross to reuse them, but it is nice to kind of smooth out any brush strokes that you may have created. Yes, if your foundation is streaky, you can definitely be dabbing like this, and then don't be afraid to use your fingers too, because this is going to be the most natural texture because it's literally skin. I think I just always reach for brushes because this is what I do every day for other people. Now, my foundation's too light. What do? Option one is obviously have a darker shade that you can add. But if you don't have that, and let's say you just have a bronzer, then that's what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna go in first with some cream blush because I always like to do my blush first. That way it is looking like it's coming from within when I go back in to bronze myself up. Did everyone just hear that? Mary, what type of foundation do you have, and what is your skin type? Oh, I'm sorry, Jackie Bell Strong with the foundation streaking question. Bare Minerals, is it a powder? Is it liquid? Okay. I haven't personally worked with that specific brand, but I really, especially if you have combination dry, I really love a cream foundation. It sits really nicely, and you can also mix it with moisturizer if you ever want to have it lighter, or if you want more of a full coverage look, you can leave it as is. But I love cream foundations. They're my favorite, but you definitely have to prep your skin to make sure that it sits nicely as possible. Now, I just applied some blush, and this is my little trick as well. I'm just taking whatever was left on that foundation and just sharpening that up. And then I like to go around the edges of the blush so it's nice and blended and it fades into the skin. And next I'm going to warm myself up with, this is just some face powder. It's a loose powder, but you can use whatever you have. It doesn't have to be a bronzer, and if it is a bronzer, one thing you want to be careful of is that it doesn't have glitter in it, because that's just too much. No, I'm applying right on top of the blush, starting here. And then I'm gonna go all across my forehead, in my hair, pretty much. Anywhere where the sun would naturally hit. Back over to the other side. And now, jawline. And then once you've done your 3, see, it's like that's a good way to remember it. Then I go right at the nose and kind of connect it, but not too much. I'm not using as much product. And this is your moment for, if you're not someone that likes bright under eyes, just kind of sweep it like that. And I'm not adding more, I'm just blending. So that way, if you can see, it's kind of contoured, and then I just blended it into the rest of the areas. And contouring doesn't have to be a whole project where you paint your face with like 60 different foundations and then have to somehow, you know, blend it in perfectly. That's just silly. I don't do that. And I also feel like if you have any texture to your skin, it really isn't ideal. I have a hair and I feel it. Now, I will give you another tip for if, let's say you made your face too dark. So if you put on too much powder, or even if just your foundation is too dark, all you need is your concealer. And this is what I call like reverse contour, is I just go like that, like that. So this is a way that you can, where'd that brush go? You can lighten if you have done your foundation too dark. And I personally always like to add a tiny bit more concealer at the end, just because it brightens me up. And I really like that look. It doesn't have to be pure white like 2016. Just a couple shades lighter. Got it. I found the hair finally. And next I'm going to add a little bit of eyeshadow underneath. And since I have a nice base here, we don't have to worry about adding eyeshadow primer. So I'm just using that brown that I had. And we're just connecting it. I am. So some people like to go all the way. This part doesn't really matter that much because I'm going to add the same shimmer. I'm going to add that here, and then it's just going to do the same effect like on top. It's going to blend it out a bit. But first, I'm taking that brush that I just touched up the concealer with. I didn't add anything to it, and I'm just softening that under eye eyeshadow. And then I'm gonna go in now with the shimmer. And this could be, you know, gold or champagne or silver. You could play around with it and find out what works for you. And another tip is you can take this and blend it underneath too, if you feel like it's a little harsh. Next, I'm gonna do brows. I can't believe time is flying by. So I'm just gonna do the easy version of brows for now, which is just eyeshadow. I also think this is the most cost effective because you can always use your eyeshadow. And what I'm doing is I'm using a flat edge and a darker brown. And you want your eyebrow to start with your nostril like that. Let me grab the little mirror 1 second. And you basically want to find your shape. And don't worry about how dark it is right now. Hi, Kate. Yeah, we did send an email as well with the link. You should have gotten an email with the Zoom link, and then we just kind of last minute decided to throw it on live. But so what I'm doing is I just sprayed a little bit of that hydrating spray. This is the MAC Fix Plus. And I put it on a clean spoolie, and that is how I blend the front of my brows. And then it also helps bring the hair to the front so it doesn't look so powdered, if that makes sense. Where did the Zoom chat go? Oh, I see. Okay. But I'm definitely going to be doing more of these. They won't always be live, but I just wanted to help get the word out there. I was so shocked at how many people signed up. And like I said, this has really been my passion project, so I'm stoked to help everybody. Because our world has become such a consume, consume, consume. And I'm here to show you, you don't need to buy all those things. If you feel like you need more help or one-on-one advice, then I do offer one-on-one private lessons. You can do it in person or on Zoom, or of course, join the membership, which I'm doing for a limited time. I'm offering an annual plan where it's only $3.99, and I'm including a complimentary private lesson, which is actually $450 normally. So you'll get not only the 12 months of the makeup lesson and the membership program, which with all the learning materials, but you'll also get a one-on-one lesson with me. So that's 24 makeup lessons live for the members only, and then also you'll get your own private one-on-one. It also includes a makeup bag audit. So we'll go through all your products and what you're using and just kind of see what can be changed, what can be updated, and things like that. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out if you need a little more help. All right, now that I'm done with my brows, I'm going to go in with a bit of highlighter. And I'm using a fan brush. And I like to connect my brows to top of my cheeks. And then top of my lip. And the bridge of the nose. And then I'm gonna throw this on. This is actually a new product from MAC. I just picked it up today. It's like a stick gloss, which is very interesting. And it tingles a little bit. It has plumper, but it's not too crazy. Alrighty, so next I'm gonna do a little bit of mascara, which I know I had somewhere. What did I do with that? Just throw my phone across the room. Oh, right here. Right in front of my face. So I'm definitely gonna upset my lash artist. Sorry. You're technically not supposed to put mascara on your lash extensions. But my favorite way to apply mascara is to blink it on. And if you don't have lash extensions or falsies on, you're gonna wanna do multiple coats to make sure that your lashes are really standing out. I don't think one coat is enough for anybody. And even me with lash extensions, I find that I still like a little bit of extra. And after the hurricane, I had to reschedule my appointment. So mine are a little scraggly. So I do tend to put mascara when I'm in need of a fill. And if you feel like your lashes are coming in clumpy, I do recommend everybody have spoolies, just clean ones, because you can go back in and just remove some of that product and help fan out your lashes better. And then I like to just take the tip of one to do my bottoms because it gives me more control. And I'm less likely to mess things up. In other classes before, I've purposely messed it up just to show you how to fix it, because most things are extremely easy to fix in makeup. And then tight lining, I'm going to grab this espresso one. So if you guys remember in the beginning of the class, somebody was asking about tight lining. So what that means is taking a pencil and putting it on the inside of your eye. Now you can go halfway, and it just kind of leaves it open here and then cats it out there. Or you can go all the way over. And since we have something under the eye, it will help it stay and prevent it from leaking down. Now, if you have applied too much, you can always blend it out. And I really like how it looks blended out anyway. So I almost try to do that when I'm tight lining, just not often. Also, if you're someone that likes this look, I encourage you to play with other colors. Like this is espresso, and I think it looks gorgeous. Now I'm blending it out. Hey Jackie, I am in Tampa. So the membership is live online twice a month. And then if you wanted to book a one-on-one, I do them either Zoom or in person. So either way. And then I see May asks, is the hydrating mist the same as a setting spray? So there are different types of setting sprays. The MAC Fix Plus is more of a hydrating one. I tend to use for a wide variety of things. I don't think that it's not as hardcore of a setting spray. I do like Skindinavia, which they have available on both Esom and Cat Cosmetics website. they have that brand. And fun fact, the all-nighter spray by Urban Decay is literally just repackaged Scandinavia. So you might as well just get the real thing instead of the repurposed. If you look at the Urban Decay all-nighter spray, it does say on the back that it is Scandinavia. So, but I'll show you guys. I like to use this for melting everything together. Now this is a big one when I'm doing a bride or an event client and I'm doing both airbrushing and creams. I use a lot of setting powder. Now this is a translucent setting powder, which Ket made my absolute favorite and they discontinued it. And I emailed them and they said they're coming out with some new ones. So I can't wait because I'm feeling lost without it. So notice how I look super powdery now. What the MAC Fix Plus does is it kind of melts it all. So, oop. And you want to try to keep your eyes closed or look down so you don't crease the work that you did on your eyes. And it just helps melt everything to look more like skin. So can you see the difference? Do you like BK makeup brushes? I actually don't know that I've ever used I don't even know what BK is. So I'm not a brand whore, actually. I find what works, and when companies send me things, I try them, and if they're amazing, then I adapt. But I'm not someone that goes out and buys and tries everything. And as a professional artist, I'm always having to clean my brushes. So I buy just tons and tons and tons of brushes from Amazon, from brands. The Esom ones are very classy and very good quality, and I really love that for personal use. But as for an artist, I beat the crap out of my brushes and I wash them so much that even the most expensive brushes, they are going to start to have fallout. So I found that more is more for me out in the field. But as for like personal brushes, I like the Esom ones. I also have some from Cosette that I really like. The Cosette brushes are like probably 2020 he sent me some brushes and I still have them. So they're pretty good. Yes, hi Rochelle. Thank you, Linda. Does under eye concealer have to be lighter? It does not have to be, but I think it looks better because you want to have more dimension and not just look flat-faced. If you're dealing with any dark circles or anything like that, then you might want to look into a color corrector as well. So mature skin is something that I've just, over the last couple of years, become, I think, more of an expert in. I really enjoy working with older women and women who say, you know, I've been doing my makeup the same for so long or my whole life and now my skin's changing and I just want to update my look. So my quickest advice I can give you is, for you, skincare is key and actually less makeup on the face. And you want to use a lot of hydrating things and definitely don't be afraid to define the eyes, and lashes are always a go. What do you recommend for skin with a lot of open pores? So I actually have a lot of open pores. I don't know if you can see it now, but I have done a lot of work on my skin. So I started using retinol and then hyaluronic acid, and I use a hyaluronic acid moisturizer as well, and then vitamin C. I did buy an LED mask, but I'm not consistent with using it. But definitely skincare, find the products that work for you. I was someone that used to get like cystic acne randomly. I was a picker. I still do pick sometimes, to be honest. Like, it's like a thing. My daughter and I, if we catch each other, we're like, stop picking. Because it is so bad for you and you can cause scarring. But I am someone I definitely have more open pores, and I get like blackheads, and I see things there and I just want to like get it all out. But see an esthetician if possible and just find out what would work best for you, because I've bought so many different things, and finally a 1% retinol with my little routine, and I also use a glycolic face wash, is super helpful. And then also I think just shaving my face is helping exfoliate. You don't want to use those twinkle razors. So let me just put that out there. If you're someone that has like the little eyebrow, I don't even have one, but like the razor like that, do not put that on your face, please, because it's so rigid and it's just gonna like tear up your skin. So you either want to use a actual like Bic razor that doesn't have the moisturizing strip on it, or just go get it professionally done with a blade. I tried to buy a blade and I just ended up cutting up my face. So I just stick with the razor, otherwise I go and get it done. All right, guys. Well, it has been lovely. I think I will do this again next week. I'm going to enter everyone's name in who was on this live, and one person is going to win an annual membership. And if you're interested in joining the annual membership, we will provide the link for you. Again, this is a $1,300 offer. You're getting 24 makeup lessons. It's a whole year, twice a month, makeup classes that are live, just like this, but it's in more of an intimate setting because it's members only. And you'll have access to all of our PDFs that include step-by-step guides on how to do just about any makeup look. And of course, you'll get the complimentary one-on-one lesson with me, which is a $450 value in itself. And you're getting all of that for just $399. So you get the whole year, the private lesson, all the materials, and any brand partnerships that I have, I do pass along those discounts. So we get lots of discounts from amazing brands, and I pass that on to my members. So hit me up. I'm available on text at 813-945-6386, or you can always email me at hello@clbagency.com. Thank you so much, guys. I had an amazing time, and I hope to see you guys soon.